Welcome to the Amiracle Podcast. I just want to give a big shout out to all of my 29 followers. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the Amiracle Podcast. I appreciate each and every one of you. Feels good to be back in the building. It feels good to be talking to all of you about some topics that are dear to me and that I feel like is going to help you get to your next level and release the miracle that's inside of you. So before we move forward anywhere, I want you to smash that like button. I want you to hit that subscribe button, and let's keep these notifications coming so that every time I drop a video, you can get the video delivered straight to your inbox and we can keep these miracles flowing. All right. So this episode, we are talking about that big P again, bringing it in, telling some stories about how you procrastinate, right? This week, I want you to write down all of the things that you procrastinate on. Meaning, make a list of things that you should be doing that you just like, I'll put it off to tomorrow. Make a list of all of the things that you do in place of what you should be doing. All right. Think about that. Make a list of all the things that you do in place of what you should be doing. Guarantee you this is going to change your life. All right. So let's break down the word procrastinate. You ready? Let's break this down. Procrastinate, right? Procrastinate means that you're in favor of tomorrow, right? Or something that could get put off until tomorrow. In favor of, procrastinate tomorrow, right? When you break that word down, you're basically telling yourself that you are in favor of tomorrow, and this thing that I need to be doing can be put off until tomorrow, right? But what you don't realize is that you're stacking today's task on top of something else. You don't know what's going to come up tomorrow, but you're automatically taking something that you could be doing and stacking it on top of tomorrow, right? So think about that. It's like you're carrying weights already, and you're like, oh, you don't know what weights are already going to be added tomorrow, but you're taking something you could do today, and you're just saying, I'm going to carry it tomorrow. All right. So what do you do? I want to see in the comments below, what do you do in place of something you should be doing? Now, fun story, right? Now, I'll admit, I used to be a big gamer. I'm not knocking you if you got a Twitch, if your profession is playing games, have at it, right? My profession wasn't playing games. I was just having fun, using games as therapy, stress relief, things like that. But one of the changing moments for me is when I was playing PlayStation a lot, Call of Duty, GTA, Horizons, man, like all the games, like I was playing all of them. And, I'm playing a game, I'm playing. And every time I had plans to do something else, I would just play the game. But then I realized, like, wow, I'm playing this game so much. Let me go to settings and see what my hours are on this game. And I realized that I legit was playing the game for hundreds of hours. And then I start calculating how much of those hours translate into potential money or potential task that's not getting done. And when I did those numbers, I was like, man, like, nah, this ain't cool. So I just begin to reduce that number down to where all of a sudden my PS5 it doesn't even sit in my living room no more. It's in like my storage room that I hardly go into, right? And it was like, man, that transition was a hard transition to follow or to implement or to act upon, but it was something that was needed, right? Because something else took place of what I was procrastinating on, right? So I did the vice versa of what happens when you actually procrastinate, right? So let's say it's like I should be writing a script, or I should be learning how to work the equipment that I have, or just doing research on what's going on in the world right now, like what's hot, what's not, what's going on internally inside of me. And I wouldn't do those things. I'll be, sitting there playing a game for hours, 4 hours. And I'm like, man, like why can't I put those hours into something that's lucrative, into something that's progressive? Because that same willpower that you develop when you wanna beat that game, when you wanna get to that next level, right? You got all these trinkets to pick up along the way and resources to build your character up in the game. And you fighting, bosses at the end. You fighting these demons at the end of each level, or the bosses, or some type of character that's bigger than you. And you got to use all the resources that you pick up in the game along the way to actually beat this character at the end. And finally you beat it, and your adrenaline and the serotonin and dopamine, all that in your body is just like, it's rising inside of you, all because you beat this monster or this boss at the end of this level, and then you get to the next level, and then you ready for more. So as I play these games, I was like, wow, you know what? I need to apply this to life. Like, what resources am I picking up along the way that can help me beat the bosses on my level that I'm currently on, right? So one of the bosses I needed to beat was procrastination. What does that monster look like? Anytime you playing or fighting a boss in a game, they have like, repetitive moves. They have certain characteristics and attributes that they use to try to defeat you. But after you fight it long enough, you're like, oh, all right, I see the patterns. I see the moves that you use. So now, I just picked up this, this fire bow on this level, or this type of thing on this level, or I got superpowers on this level. So now I could use those powers to beat you, right? So what I'm doing for you now on this episode of the Amiracle Podcast is giving you some tools that'll help you defeat procrastination. And one of the tools to defeat procrastination is to literally become cognitive and conscious of the things and behaviors that you perform when procrastination takes over your body. Because procrastination, just like these other attributes, is a principality, right? It's a energy. It's a spirit. We can't see it with our physical body, but procrastination is a spirit. It's a behavior. It's an attribute. It's a principality. You know how in the Bible says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against spiritual wickedness and principalities. And y'all know the scripture. Like, I don't gotta quote it, but this is one of those things that keep us grounded and keep us from reaching our next level. Because the more you procrastinate, the more you're stuck on that same level, the more you're going to find yourself complaining about, oh, I don't have, oh, I don't have, oh, I can't, oh, I don't know why this happening, oh, I don't know this, that, da, 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 X, Y, Z. And success is when preparation meets opportunity. But if you keep procrastinating, you're never going to put yourself in a prepared space to greet opportunity with a warm welcome. So this week, all of my 29 followers, subscribers, I want you to write down every time. I want you to keep a little notebook with you, right? A little tiny notebook. And every time you procrastinate, I want you to write down what you do in place of what you should be doing. So if you got dishes in your sink, which is something small, if you got dishes in your sink and you know those dishes need to be washed and you decided not to wash them, what did you do in place of washing those dishes? Did you sit on the couch and watch a TV show? Did you scroll on Instagram? Did you pick up the phone and gossip? Did you go outside, listen to the birds sing? Like, what did you do in place of what you should have been doing? And then on top of that, what was the reward that you received from the thing that you procrastinated on? What did you gain from what you procrastinated on? Write it down. And then at the end of your 7 days, I want you to tally up your rewards from all the times you procrastinated during the week. So that way you have a cognitive, conscious record, a log of your own behaviors. Don't be passive about this action. Write it down. Start examining your own behaviors. Don't worry about nobody else. Look at yourself and really imagine what your reward tally would be if you just did what you had to do. Right? And I want you to gradually shift from being a procrastinator to just a pro. Right? From being a procrastinator to a pro. Get rid of this procrastinate part and just be a pro. A pro at your craft, a pro at your job, a pro at your own behaviors. This is my challenge to everyone watching the Amiracle Podcast. I want you to just become a pro. And the way you get to just becoming a pro is by making your tally marks and your rewards add up so much that these pro behaviors become your being, your nature, your second nature, your first nature, till it becomes habitual. Now, this is proven it works. It works. The moment you make your being conscious of something, it no longer becomes ignored. You can no longer consciously procrastinate because you will look at your own self differently every time you decide to do something that is completely against what you should be doing. And I guarantee you, you will see these doors start opening up for you just by doing what you should be doing. Right? Something small. I brought up washing dishes. Let's talk about cleaning your house, washing your car, folding clothes, right? How many times in your home you see something on the floor, you just walk right past it? These behaviors that we perform in the conscious realm, we're also doing it on a quantum level. Because those pair of socks you walk past on the floor that you just walk over or overlook, or that trash you didn't take out, or your book that you're not writing, or that painting you're not painting, or that podcast you should be filming, or that movie you should be filming and writing. There are people that are waiting for you to start what you need to start because you are their employer. You are the one that's going to unlock $1 million for them. But you're choosing to not do what you should be doing. And because you're not doing, they're not doing. They're not even living the life that they should be living because the force who's going to be the spark, who's going to be the catalyst to make them rise is not sparking. Right? I know some of you seen what happened in these older cars. What happened if one of the spark plugs not working, the car won't start. Right? Certain chemicals, certain elements need to be added into certain molecular structures to be the catalyst to cause a reaction. And a lot of you are not starting what you should be starting, and there's no reaction taking place, or you're starting something else besides what you should be doing, and you're getting reactions, but not the reactions that you should be getting. So think about that. Think about any celebrity or any business owner that you know. Think about that. Think about the sun. The sun is constantly working, fusing helium, hydrogen, right? It's fusing these elements, fusing, right? Causing all these photons to come out throughout not only the solar system, but the universe, solar flares. And we're receiving all that energy because it decided to become the sun, right? It was ordained to become the sun. And a lot of you who are watching the Amiracle Podcast are ordained to be a star. But you procrastinate so much that you're not allowing your starlight to shine. So this week, my challenge to all of you miracles out there is for you to ignite your star. Spark your star. Spark your star by eliminating your procrastination. It's time. Do you hear me? It's time for you to spark your inner star. You are ordained and you're being called to spark your inner star. It's time. I hear it. Start your engines. Right? It's takeoff time. Time to fly. I know y'all feel that. You just felt that. You felt that come through. I know y'all felt that. All right? So, this week, all of you watching the Miracle Podcast, it's time to get a hold on procrastination. All right? I want you to comment below and tell me how your week went once you executed and implemented this method. Let me know how your week go once you implemented this method. Once you wrote down these behaviors that you do in place of what you should be doing, and let me know that you got your procrastination in a headlock. All right? So, like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how your weekend, right? Let me know how your weekend. And thank you all for tuning in to the Amiracle Podcast. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, and tell everyone to tune in. All right? Thank you so much. Peace.